Hello, we are back. I am feeling much healthier after a long cold and a fever. Much better right now. So hope everyone else is doing well. We're going to be talking about a trial that I didn't get to watch too much of, or at least get to talk to you guys about. We're going to talk about the Nicole Amari Hall trial that just happened, or just Amari Hall. Her first name was Nicole, but they seem to call her only Amari. This was down in Georgia, and her mother, Brittany Hall, and her mother's girlfriend, Celeste, just were arrested not too long ago after being found guilty of killing 8-year-old Amari. Now, of course, they had to go through the whole legal steps. They were convicted after so much evidence. Celeste, her trial just ended. The jury took 2 hours and found her guilty. And Brittany, the mother, will be having her trial coming up soon. So we're going to go over some of Celeste's trial that just happened, what we knew before the trial started, what we learned during, and even after. The first thing I want to hop into, though, when it comes to the trial, they didn't play too much video evidence. And there was 2 siblings involved. At the time, 8-year-old Amari, and then she had a sister who was 6 and a brother who was 5. They are now a few years older. I believe the sister is now 9, and the sister did get to testify, which was heartbreaking. We couldn't get to see her. They had the camera down on the floor. But we got to listen to her. We'll be jumping into that. But at the time, 2021, when Amari was phoned in missing, the mom said, "Hey, my daughter's gone. She's autistic. We live in a busy area. I'm afraid that something horrible happened to her." We are going to go ahead and watch what she said to the news that day after the police had arrived. So let me switch that over. Okay.
Interview with Fox 5 on Monday, Hull told me she woke just before 9 Sunday morning to find the girl missing from their upstairs unit.
I woke up yesterday morning and my daughter wasn't here. The doors cracked. I went outside. I went to go around the whole place. I went twice. I did not see her. I called 911.
Okay, so what do you think of that acting? She looked upset. I don't know if that's how a upset, frantic mother would be in that situation, especially looking at it from now, because we now know that she was involved with Amari disappearing. She knew what had happened. So we have learned that she phoned in, said that she was missing. The police started doing their looking through their home, started investigating outside. They immediately found video of them and the children of physical abuse that had been going on for a long time. They even had found videos that the couple had tried to get rid of, and they found that. They went through their history for phones and computers. There was so much history about that. There was also searches of trying to say someone ran away but didn't, and how to cover up your tracks. I mean, it was all signs pointed to them. But some of the things that really hit home for that time is the police talking to the kids. And I just want to go through and say a few of the things that were said, once again, with the 5-year-old and 6-year-old siblings. At the time, the mother had said that once the police caught on that someone did something, the mother said, "Oh, that was Celeste. I would never do that." And the 5 and 6-year-old said, "No, both the women hurt her." They later also said hurt them, but they said no, hurt her. And they saw one of them put tissue in her mouth before putting her in a tote with a lid and said that they're taking her to the Bad Children Hospital. I mean, it's horrific. The fact that they were able to say that to a stranger, I mean, you would hope that they would know that it's to a policeman and he's there to help. But considering what they had been going through physically and mentally, the fact that they were able to say this, I mean, I really think they probably saved their own lives looking back at it. I do wonder how much now, with it only being a few short years later, how much they realize of a bad situation they were in. Obviously, with the worst happening, their sister dying, but it could have been all of them with the way this was going. I'm going to see if there's anything else that I missed that I really wanted to cover for that time. Yeah, so in the videos that were also found, it was just cussing them out, hitting them. Some of the things that they would do is make them wear blindfolds and lay on the floor. If they were in trouble, they would hit them and kick them. One of the videos showed the boy getting slapped 11 times. Just horrible, horrible things. And then, yes, paper towel in the mouth and getting put in a tote. So one of the things that I looked at for this case is, how did it get to this point? Because for things to get to this level, usually there would be children's services of some capacity already involved. And that proved true for this case. They had Child Protective Services involved 3 different times starting in 2015. Now, the weird thing about this is that there isn't a lot of information on those 3 times. And that just makes me really untrusting of their system and what's going on there, because, you know, whether it is being withheld from the public's one thing, but different attorneys and police agencies have been making comments like, hey, there wasn't a lot. So what were they doing their job to the fullest of capacity? You know, was there anything? The only thing that they said was there was no signs of anything physical for those times. And so they didn't think that there was any issues of abuse. And that was that. But here it is. And Amari dies, but not only with just the fact that she died. After having her autopsy done, she had fractured ribs, internal bleeding, obviously bruising, but things that were there it took time to build and build, and this wouldn't have been a one-time thing. And so it just makes you look at all the other times and them saying, no, there's no signs of abuse. Well, that doesn't really make any sense, does it? And did they really drop the ball 3 times? You would think, one time you go, everything's fine, never hear about it again. But 3 times going there and nobody noticed anything, very odd to me. So there's the first part that really, I feel like this agency, I didn't see exactly where they're at in Georgia, but I think people should be doing their due diligence. If they happen to know what county they're from, definitely seems like more things need to go into it. Another thing is Brittany, her mom, what she says is her job. What she does for employment is she is a spirit guide. She is there to help you religiously, or, I don't know all of it, but just even starting to read this, I was very upset. It's just, oh yeah, you are a religious guide and this is what's going on with your daughter. It just disgusts me. So this is all happening through the trial, and a lot of people were wondering about their family. Is the dad around? It doesn't seem like it. I have dug into this and I can't find anything about him. However, I did find things on their extended family who were all very upset, and a lot of them, for many reasons, did not want to do any public speaking. I think they were afraid for what the public and people would view, wondering why they didn't do more if they noticed anything. I probably would have been one of those people being like, why? So I get that. And there was only a couple people who did statements, very generic, but also, saying happy that the other two kids are safe, happy that there's been a resolution. We are going to go ahead and watch Celeste getting her verdict. And as I said, Brittany, the mom, her trial is coming, and I would like to think that she is going to get the same, if not more, than Celeste. It will be interesting. Hi, Beverly. So it's gonna be interesting. Let me cue this up. We will go ahead and watch the verdict. And as we watch the verdict, you will note that she has zero emotions, zero reaction, not a surprise, but once again, pretty upsetting. It just seems like these kids were not cared about. So, okay, let me cue it up. We're getting it going.
In the Superior Court of Gwinnett County, State of Georgia, in the matter of the State of Georgia versus Celeste Alexandria Owens, indictment number 24B03590-11, verdict of the jury. We, the jury, find the defendant as follows. Count 1, malice murder, guilty. Count 2, felony murder, guilty. Count 3, felony murder, guilty. Count 4, felony murder, guilty. Count 5, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 6, aggravated battery, guilty. Count 7, aggravated assault, guilty. Count 8, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 9, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 10, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 11, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 12, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 13, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 14, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 15, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 16, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 17, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 18, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 19, concealing the death of another, guilty. And count 21, making a false statement, guilty. Signed and dated this 13th day of December 2024 by the foreperson. You may be seated.
Yeah, so what was that? On count 14, I had to stop myself from talking, but it got to count 14, and it was guilty. It was the first time that she showed a reaction. She looked down, and I really just wanted to be like, bye. Bye-bye. She realized in that moment, it took to count 13 or 14, and she realized it was guilty on everything. As it should have been. It's horrific. Going back a little bit over just Celeste's part that we know, it seems like she was the one who did get rid of the body, put her in a tote, rented a U-Haul van, put her in the woods. The mom, after the police basically figured out that she had something to do with it, the mom ended up telling them where she was, but then once again tried to blame only the girlfriend. So the mom is gonna mom's gonna be found guilty for sure too. So yeah, 2-hour verdict, came back guilty on everything, no emotions. The mom is awaiting hers, and as she's been waiting, she had a meeting with the judge, and in the entire meeting, she only had one question, one thing to ask the judge, and that was it. And that was, do I have a bond to get out? The judge was like, no, absolutely not. And that was it. That's all she cared about. Nothing about her kids, nothing about anything. Pretty horrific. So that is what I have for today on some of this. I'm going to be watching just to see if there are any family members that do step forward that maybe I won't be so willing to tear apart. I'm sure there's family members that had no idea that are extended and they don't see them. I just wish that somehow someone close to them would have been able to stop this before it got to this level. It's so upsetting. And as I said, that child service agency in that area needs to be relooked at. If there's been 3 things in 5 to 6 years and they show physical signs of abuse throughout the years, but also malnutrition and things were documented, if that's been there, then someone is not doing their job. It just should be. And also just saying, in child service agencies, when they have to go make these calls, it is a rule that they have to talk to that child. If the child's old enough to speak, they get to sit and talk to the child just to make sure that they are where they're supposed to be mentally. They're not showing any weird signs of, knowing too much about things or something's wrong. And I want to say that when the police came and the children made the comment about their sister being taken to the bad kid hospital. I mean, that was the first day they showed up. They're 5 and 6 years old, and they said that. If that isn't alarming, it's like, so did the agency do more talking with them? Was it that many years before that they were still too little? Maybe. But this is so important to stay on top of things. And if that was one of the things that they failed to do, that would be huge, because just by that one statement, you would know that something's wrong and not okay. So, things to look out for, things to follow up on. We will be watching her mom's trial when it comes. I don't know the exact date. I think it's late January or early February. I will definitely let you know. I was just happy that I felt good enough to be able to come on and talk about this one. I'll be back more tomorrow and the rest of the week. Hopefully holidays are coming, but happy to be here. So I will see you tomorrow. Let me check in. Almost just missed all the chats, Beverly. Yeah, some of this has been awful. And the jury has been, 2 hours. It was a lot to go through, so that's why I think it took so long. But yeah, guilty on everything, thank God. So, all right, it was a good one. I will see